I am Vickie Perez-Segovia.
And you're listening to Through Dangers Untold, a monthly art podcast about traversing the precarious gap between art school and a professional, sustainable art career. And Vickie, what are you working on this week?
So this week, well, I've been kind of loaded with a full schedule at my day job, but in the last couple of weeks, actually, I've been preparing for my next festival, which for those in Chicago is going to be, or even the Chicago area, it's going to be in Elmhurst, Illinois. It's called Yes Fest. It's going to be July 19th through the 21st. I think it's going to be at the Elmhurst Art Museum.
Oh,
And then
nice.
Yeah, and then the weekend after that, I am going to do the Seltzer Library Comic Festival, which is one that I'll be returning to for I think the third year in a row. It's a really fun little good time at the library. But yeah, so I'm preparing for those tables, trying to make more blank books to sell because those are my best-selling item, and I am out.
Oh, wow. That's
But yeah,
awesome.
so yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, what are you up to?
um, I have been preparing for my next show as well.
Awesome.
Um, it's going to be the Fairy Festival up in Elgin. We're like, let's go to the suburbs.
Right.
And so I'm working on that and trying to get that all ready. And then I've also been working on a piece for a charity that's coming up.
Ooh.
It's for that. It's a group of artists, group of fantasy artists and genre artists who wanted to do something with, I don't know how to say it, if it's RAICES, if it's racist or racist. I don't know. It sounds weird when you say it that way, but like, anyway,
Uh-huh.
they're helping families and kids at the border, and
Oh,
yeah. Were you able to submit something or?
no. I remember seeing
Yeah,
something about it and I kind of lost it. But yeah, it's
understandable. There's so much.
yeah.
So we're putting together a bundle of a bunch of different things, some downloadable stuff, wallpapers, coloring pages, a bunch of different things, discounts for people's stores. So they're going to bundle it all together, and then the proceeds will go to that. So yeah,
That's awesome.
it's nice to be able to try and do something.
Yeah, for sure.
It's easy to feel so helpless. So
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
yeah, just doing something, anything, just helps so much.
Yeah.
And it's a really good cause. So, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Woohoo.
yeah. So I got that done and I submitted that today, and I'm really proud that I got it done on time.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
awesome.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like remember seeing something about it and I just like it took me a second to remember what you were talking about. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know. There's so much stuff that goes by in passing. Like, it's easy to
Yeah.
just completely lose it. But yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah. I'm part of the groups that are like started it, so I get the notifications, which help a lot.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good.
Yeah. So that's yeah. Um. But anyway, I'm a little scattered and hot. My brain's a little hot tonight.
Oh, no, you're good. I mean, hey.
I don't have any air conditioning in my studio
Oh
yet. Like we have a window thing. We just haven't put it in yet because it's gonna be 70 tomorrow, right? It's like, ugh.
no. Oh, it is?
Yeah,
It was awful today though. It was like 95.
yeah. It was garbage today, totally.
Yeah, it was really bad.
But we have air conditioning in the bedroom, so I kind of hid in there today. But like, I'm in my room now, so if I'm a little spacey, that's why.
Hey, no worries. You are totally valid.
I'm like, I've got heat spaciness.
Oh
But
boy.
our topic today, as we swelter in the heat, as we get heat stroke, is health.
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 Self-care.
Wellness.
We are probably not in the best environment for this, but I mean, that's just this entire city, nation, decade,
Yep.
point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I don't mind kicking stuff off if you need to
Yeah.
gather your thoughts.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Um, so, I think one of the biggest reasons I thought it was like it would be good to address this right now is because, well, like for one, anyone listening may have noticed that like Jess isn't here today because she needed a day off, and it's like, hey, if you got stuff you got to do, you know,
Hmm.
it's totally fine to make time for whatever you need or to make time for yourself.
Yes.
Um, and just the same, like in previous episodes, like there's been days where I needed to take off because I was literally at work.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like it happens, and it's like you can't make yourself do everything at once because then you burn out and it's not good for you. Um, right now at my day job, I'm pulling a lot of extra shifts. Just because of how there's just a lot of crazy stuff going on with scheduling, and essentially like the opportunity came up for me to get a lot more hours this month, which is great because money, and I need that. But also it's physically exhausting, and it's just fortunate that I really like working at my job. It's a really fun job.
Hmm.
It's just like, for example, on Saturday I had like a 12-hour shift, and
Ooh.
honestly, when you do 12 hours of anything, is it's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but it's fortunate that, I have a really good time. There's always a lot of cool people. The store I work at is pet friendly, so people come in with their dogs, so that's always really nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, and I was actually at therapy today, and we were talking about, just kind of like work-life balance, just because I am getting so many shifts, and she's like, great, well, what are you doing to take care of yourself? And I was just like, haha, I have an answer this time.
That's awesome. You're like, I'm
I
ready.
don't usually. But yeah, so it's nice to like recognize in yourself when you're actually doing something for yourself. And it's like, if you need to give yourself a pat on the back for taking care of yourself, that is totally valid.
Oh, yeah.
Um, because it's hard to, it's like, I'm the kind of person where it's like, if I don't schedule out time to take care of myself, I just won't. I'll just burn out and
Hmm.
have a real bad time.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it's something like in terms of burnout, it's something that I think a lot of people go through. It's very much ingrained in our culture. That sort of like workaholic culture that's really encouraged
Hmm.
here. And I guess kind of tying back to the podcast itself, it's like when you're a working artist, especially if you're doing like freelance or if you're not at like a corporate job or something, you're trying to make your own schedule, it's so easy to burn out.
Yeah.
It's so easy because it's like we have a lot of that motivation of just like, yeah, I got to get it done, got to keep working. Oh man, I'm getting kind of tired. I'm running out of ideas, but it's like, I got to keep working because I
Yeah.
need that money. And then you burn out and your work suffers if you're not, if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah. That's so true. And I almost feel like artists are worse about it
Hmm.
because it's so competitive and because that money is scarce or feels scarce,
Oh, yeah.
that we do end up pushing ourselves more than we should.
Yes.
Man, I feel
Yes.
like every time I turn around, there's another artist that's like, "Oh, I've got tendinitis," and I'm like, "That's terrible. That shouldn't be so common." And it is, though.
Yeesh.
It's super, super common, and
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for that to recover.
Yeah. That and like carpal tunnel
Mm-hmm.
and like Sorry, I don't know if those are like technically the same thing or.
No, no, I think they're two
Okay.
different things.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's like we overwork ourselves, or it's like sometimes we're just working for so many hours straight,
Yeah. Without
you know?
breaks.
Yeah, and it's like even if you're just sitting at a computer, sitting at a table, at a desk drawing, it's like you're burning yourself out, you know? It's like you're still physically exhausting yourself. You're forcing your body to do things for, you know, an unusual amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Yeah.
and it's a lot.
So I want to circle back because I was interested in, you were talking about finding ways to take care of yourself, and I was
Mhm.
curious if you wanted to share, like,
Oh,
are there
yeah.
things you do to help you relax, or that you like to do to take care of yourself, or even do you have like a schedule or something that you do to make sure that you get that done?
I definitely try to. Because definitely one of the things I was kind of talking about in therapy today is that that I'm kind of getting better about consistency, which is also important in a self-care routine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about like spur of the moment, treat yourself, but it's very much about like, okay, it's like this is the day of the week where I'm not gonna work, you
Yes.
know, like where I'm not gonna
Yes.
work, gonna set things down, gonna unplug, you know, go for a walk,
Mm-hmm.
hang out with friends, whatever you need to do. For me personally, just because like I it feels a little sad to say, or I guess like I feel like it sounds sad, but I don't feel sad about it. Um the fact that like I I'm not really at a place anymore where like I can make art for leisure, to like relax necessarily. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that I don't find art relaxing, you know, art's very meditative for me and everything, but it's just like there's always a part of my brain when I'm making art. It's like even if I'm like doing a sketch in a sketchbook where I'm just like, oh, you know, I'm just doodling for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, like when I relax the most is when some of my most interesting doodles come out, and I'm just like,
Uh,
ooh, this would make a real good print, or this would make a cool sticker. I should,
nice.
you know, clean it up in Photoshop and print it out and make stickers. And it's like I cannot help my brain. I can't stop my brain from doing that. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so it's
Yeah.
like I'm at a point where it's like I might take time to just to doodle for the sake of being creative, and then I think I've started working that into my professional process.
Nice.
But instead, to relax, I do just completely different things. Like if I'm up for it, like if I have the sort of like mental energy, I'll read.
Mm-hmm.
If if I don't, I usually try to do just general like skincare stuff, cuz like makeup and skincare is that sort of like it's kind of like a luxury thing for me. So it's like if I'm able to spend a little extra money on myself, I like it goes into skincare. Mostly because like otherwise it's like I completely neglect my skin, which is really bad because I have sensitive skin. um
Oh.
and like and it's like having a certain day of the week where I have like my skincare routine, or like I just have like a day where I'm like, okay, today is when I put on the like face mask thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like because you have it on and it just sits on your face, it's like you can't really move or do anything. So I'm literally just like meditating for like 30 minutes, and it's
Yay.
really nice.
So
Um,
great.
yeah. Or I'll just like scroll through my phone vaguely, you know, just kind of like, well, I can't really do anything actively. Like I can't focus on my phone because then I'm gonna look down and it's gonna fall off. um, or just like put something on my laptop as like background noise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's like I've been getting better about doing that. You know, it's like every week, a certain day of the week and stuff, and like that's just kind of made me feel better. Getting like facial toner was a big thing for me because it's a very kind of in my mind a very kind of like makeup routine thing, but it's like, oh, if I don't have time to put on makeup, I can put on toner and it'll like make my skin feel good. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like rose water toner, so it smells really nice, and
Oh,
I can
nice.
smell like roses.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
I want to
And
do that
so
right now.
I definitely recommend it. I found a big old bottle real cheap on
Um,
that giant website that shall not be named.
that one. I gotcha.
The one with
Yeah,
the very convenient shipping options.
I gotcha.
um but yeah, I like it's nice to have something relaxing that isn't like art, so there's no danger of like, ooh, I can monetize this.
Yes. Yes. It gives your brain a rest.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find what works for you, because I'd spent years trying to sort of rediscover what just makes me feel good, and because I'm the kind of person that like when I like to relax, like relaxing for me means literally doing nothing. It's like going into like complete zen mode.
Oh, wow.
And just like shutting my body off and just like, I don't know, I guess literally charging my battery.
Ah, that's so awesome and adorable.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like,
Like, I gotta plug in.
yeah. It's like, I'm just gonna sit on the couch for 2 hours. Please don't
Yeah.
try to interact with me because I'm
Like,
not gonna charge right.
this little charging bar.
Yeah.
I love it. That's so great. Yeah, that's impressive though. I admire that because my brain does not let me do that at all. I can't shut off like that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely really difficult. I mean, because I'm a very restless person, my mind is very restless. It's one of those things that takes a lot of practice. Unfortunately, what I really need to do is to be able to do that when I'm going to bed.
Oh
My
yeah.
mind is my mind is so restless when I go to bed.
Mhm.
And it's like me and Alan are in bed. He falls asleep immediately, and like I'm it's like almost midnight, and my brain just comes up with the dumbest things, and I'm just like, hey, but let me share the thing with you. And he's like, I'm literally trying to sleep.
Oh, I understand this too much. I
I'm
think
just
I've
like,
had
I'm
the
trying to
same
sleep too, but
conversation
my brain's not letting me.
with David.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I just thought of something.
What if this thing?
Yeah.
Oh no.
And like it's funny because sometimes it's like the most half-baked idea too.
Right?
You're just like, but isn't it genius?
Because your brain feels like, this is so important right now.
Yeah.
Yep. I get that.
Oh man.
Yeah. Brains. Yeah, brains. Brains are actually important to take care of too, besides just your bodies.
Yes.
You know?
Boy, is that true.
Yup.
Oh man, let me tell you real quick about the last 2 days of my like heavy work block.
Oh
I
no.
was talking with customers and I could hear myself not making sense, and I had to look at them and be like, sorry, let me start that sentence over.
Hmm.
I know none of that made sense.
Oh no.
Um yeah, like I got to the point where it's like my body feels fine, but it's like the words are not coming out and they're not making sense.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, I've gone loopy.
Yep. I understand that.
Yeah.
And that's after you worked a lot of hours too, right? So
Yes.
your brain
Yeah.
was just probably so tired.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to to take care of your brain too. And I find, even though I have a really busy brain and it's really hard and I'm impatient, but meditation does help.
Yes.
Like forcing myself to just lie there and put on my timer for 5 minutes because that's all
Oh
I
yeah.
can do. It's 5. And just breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And I have guided meditations that I really like. I've done it for a long time, so I kind of have the things I like to do, but It's really hard.
Yeah.
But it's really good for you.
Yeah. It really is.
I do feel more calm when I do it regularly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like it might be kind of like a heart rate regulation type of thing
Yeah.
that it starts affecting that.
Yes. Yes. That's a very good observation. I think that's really
Just
true.
yeah, it's just that kind of like training yourself to like slow your heart rate and just like relax more regularly and stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Or even just like stopping for a
Yeah.
minute. Like just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop doing things and just be still for a second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Just slow down for a minute.
Yeah, it's like just sit and breathe.
Yeah. Just focus on some
Um
breathing.
yeah, I think that was a thing I remember having a conversation with my mom a long time ago after, just kind of like realizing, that I might have like attention deficit disorder and stuff. Because it's like, I realized, growing up, it's like, if I don't think I've ever felt like bored for
Mhm.
any like real significant amount of time. Because it's like, he's also kind of restless and he gets bored easily. And it's like, he needs to be doing something. Like, if he's relaxing, it's like that's going to mean, spending time with friends, playing video games, doing something fun and engaging, which
Mhm.
totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's like, for me, because my brain is already overworking itself so much, I'm like, no, I need to just sit and let my brain just kind of like run on automatic and just let it run out of energy. Just
It's
like,
like a little kid that's like running around really fast.
yeah,
And then like, I'm done.
yeah.
I'm
That's
tired.
kind of exactly. That's kind of how my brain is. Then I'm just like, okay, now I can do stuff.
I need a nap now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's great. That's
yeah.
excellent. So you're able to just like sit there and just let your kid run around.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean,
Your brain
that's
kid.
fully, yes, absolutely. Because like I'll like just like I can literally sit and just stare
That's
for like
awesome.
an hour, and it's just like I'm sure on the outside it looks like I'm totally vegging out, but I'm just like thinking about everything.
Yeah.
It's like my
Yeah.
brain's just like going nuts. Then I'm just like, all right, it's lunchtime.
And scene.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That makes sense, though. That sounds like a
Yeah.
good way to go.
Yeah. It's
And
definitely a nice way to relax. Sit and
yeah,
do nothing.
yeah, just chill. Yeah, I'm definitely the person that has to distract myself because my brain
Mm.
is annoying in its running around. My brain child is like stabbing me with a dagger.
Oh no.
So I'm like, I'm gonna go play video games so that I can
Yeah.
ignore this child stabbing me with a dagger.
Do you find video games relaxing?
I do.
Like, yeah,
Particular kinds. They have to.
sure.
Oh man, I love Don't Starve so much. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It's perfect because it's like relaxed attention for me.
Yeah.
Like there's repetitive you do repetitive things because you die a lot. So you're like
Mm-hmm.
so you go, okay, I got to set up the space so that I can survive the night. And so you do this many things to set up your stuff to survive the night. And
Mm-hmm.
then you just keep doing those kinds of things. And then you die. And you're like, okay, well, that didn't work. Let me try another thing. So it's just basically iterations.
Yeah.
So repetitive patterns for me. Well, yeah, makes sense. But anyway, repetitive patterns for me are very relaxing.
That is totally fair. I feel like you sound drunk.
I am so tired and like hot.
Oh no.
That I'm so goofy.
We're just like delirious right
I
now.
am same, like, yes. And I'm not making sense now. But anyway, you are right. We do sound drunk. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Really? Yeah. Cause like that's a conversation that like I've had with Avan a lot because like he's a very like technical minded person and so kind of like doing stuff like that is very relaxing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Yeah.
and for me, I think the games that would be relaxing for me are partly like idle mobile games and like those very sort of like abstract kind of like dexterity games that don't really require you to think much. It's more just kind of like again tiring your brain out.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
That makes total
but
sense.
yeah, where it's like it's not kind of like a lot of like surface level engaging. It's I guess like engaging more on just like one kind of like deeper level where it's just like, oh, you're just kind of solving a very abstract looking puzzle, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
Um, as opposed to, maybe like a crafting game or like um a more I don't know, I don't have like the right words to say it because I want to say like explicit puzzle game, but like for example, like Tetris.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
that game's a lot of fun,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not relaxing for me.
Oh.
It's like I'll go nuts with it. Like I give up on Tetris after like a minute. Um unless I'm winning. But but it's like most games for me because they are so engaging on so many levels
Mm-hmm.
on just kind of like the surface level of like playing it, it's like what you see represented like on your screen and how you're interfacing with it as well as like sort of engaging with the game on a deeper level, if there's like puzzles involved or if it's an adventure game or however you're getting through it, it's like engaging you in so many ways.
Right.
um and so like with stuff like that, it's like it's not necessarily relaxing for me. It's like that kind of stuff, like it'll amp me up, especially when like there's tasks that like require learning in game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like then that feels like almost like I guess the same type of frustration I would experience like in a classroom when I'm trying to learn something new. It's like you're kind of trying stuff over and over again and you're dealing with that frustration of just like, okay, like let me look at what I was doing, let me see what I can change and blah blah blah. It's like it's very engaging and it's not bad. It can be frustrating, but it ends up being rewarding, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in that sense, it's like games aren't relaxing for me because of how sort of like wholly engaging they are, I think.
That makes sense.
Um and my brain is just too like scattered to like it I guess focus properly. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I'm I have like this image in my head of how I feel like it's working and I don't know how to put it into words.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, how?
Yeah, I'm just like imagining like a bunch of like fingers just kind of grabbing onto my brain and just kind of like trying to make it focus on one thing.
That makes sense.
Um but yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Is there are there other things that you do to kind of relax and like sort of like quiet the noise in your head?
um, it's been a difficult journey.
That's fair.
I have struggled with it most of my life. The things that have worked the best have been taking walks in nature
Mm.
because it'll still be chattery, but at least when I do that, for some reason, it tends to focus towards productive thought.
Mm.
So I'll be able
Nice.
to fix like a problem I needed to fix on a painting,
Ooh.
or I for some reason it tends to order it for a minute into
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that will help me instead of something that's actively trying to kill me.
Yeah. Fair.
That probably sounds super weird. But anyway.
No, I think it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. I mean, I think that's I think that that's partly why, like, I mean, nature and experiencing nature and meditation and nature are seen as such therapeutic things.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like there's a
Yeah.
lot of noise in nature. There's a lot of natural sounds that can be very relaxing, you know?
Yeah. They really are. And just that movement combined with, so I'm doing something, but I don't have to really pay attention because I go the same route every day. And
Sure.
I do it in the morning every day. And I
Hmm.
stretch, and do a little strength exercises to
Hmm.
stave off the tendonitis.
Sure.
But all that, it tends to help. That tends to help some.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then meditation, and then um, knitting. Knitting helps
Nice.
me or spinning uh, yarn because
Ooh.
it's a creative thing, but it's also very repetitive. So
Hmm.
it can be very relaxing for me.
That's awesome.
Cooking. I love to cook,
Yes. Me too.
especially like if I'm having a frustrating art day. I love to
Hmm.
just go and make something delicious.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's like I get
For
to
sure.
eat this and it's good and it's kind of a reward and I can cook and
Right?
make it great and it's creative and
Absolutely.
yeah, I like that. Um, what else?
Makes me
Uh,
feel a little bad for chefs.
because that's their job.
Yeah.
I know they can't escape from it.
Like, how do they escape?
That's true. It's a question. Oh no.
Pour one out
uh,
for the chefs.
that's right. I also really love self care stuff, like fun, floofy self care. I love it. I love doing masks, like you were saying, or like doing my nails. I've just recently
Yes.
done my nails, started doing my nails again because it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I kind of want to do the same.
sparklier the better. Like get into little
Yes.
kid mode.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh my God, yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, I have oh, excuse me. I have that was a big ol' yawn. I have like three little bins just full of different colors of nail polish because I used to be obsessed
Ooh.
with just having so many colors of nail polish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I just got lazy because I got lazy about like removing it and then reapplying a different color. And part of me is just like, I want to get back into it and just paint my nails again.
Yeah, so
'Cause it's
fun.
fun. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's a lot of work, right? And we use our hands a lot, so it makes it hard.
Yeah.
But it's so fun.
Yes. It really is.
It's another way to be creative.
It honestly it is. I used to love making nail art on my nails. Like I remember when I would go to conventions,
Ooh.
I used to like do nail art on my nails. Like one
Oh,
year I did like Finn and Jake on my nails from Adventure Time.
nice.
Like I got super into buying the little like really fine brushes to do like details and stuff, and I would use the like tape for like masking to create sharp edges and like cool shapes and stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I used to get really into painting my nails.
That's awesome.
And then I got lazy.
Eh.
It happens.
We're allowed. We're allowed to get lazy and then come back to stuff we like. Like
That's true.
that's fine.
Yes.
It's a hobby.
Yeah. I think yeah. I
Speaking of hobbies, are there hobbies that you have that you feel like recharge you when you're not doing art?
I don't know if you can hear me, Sonnett.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't sure if we got disconnected. Um but yeah, taking care of plants has been like a nice thing for me.
Mm.
Um I recently had two plants up on a high shelf and I recently moved them down so they're easier to reach. And since then, I am watering them more consistently, and they are not dying.
Nice.
They were not in great shape before, and I would like feel guilty about not watering them, and I would see them wilting because I was too lazy to get up on a step stool to water them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I need to take better care of my plants.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I brought them down to a lower shelf where I can reach them, and I can spend time with them, and we can be happy.
Oh, nice. You can talk to them
Yeah,
and say hello.
yeah. And it's funny because like the planters that I have them in are these old like clay planters that my mom had bought before
Mm-hmm.
we moved into this house. So they're like well over 15 years old.
Oh, nice.
Um and we had painted them with acrylic paints, and like I painted like half of them, she painted like half of them. And on one of them, one of the ones that I have up here, I did this like moody night scene with this like elf character
Oh,
with like
yeah.
with like their hair blowing in the wind, and they have like
Yes.
purple hair and like this like burgundy cape.
That's amazing.
And like
I love it.
I look at it and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you nerd. Like I was like 14 or like 13 when I painted.
That's wonderful.
Oh yeah, it's really great, and I'm glad that I have that one.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
It's important to have these things.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a nice archive of my art.
Yeah. And your nerdy soul, which is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta have artifacts of our nerdy souls.
Yes, exactly.
Remember where we come
Exactly.
from.
Seriously. And it's funny because like this was before it's like I don't remember being into elves or anything at that age. Like I was into like fairies because there was this one artist whose name escapes me right now, but she was like really known for like her fairy art, and I think like some of her merchandise was at like Hot Topic for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was like it was like Anne something.
I think I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I was obsessed with her art.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
I was obsessed.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like I used to try to draw fairies in my sketchbooks, like in her style. I would be like,
Oh,
"Oh, this is a fairy version of this character, and this is a fairy version of this character, and
oh,
like
I love it.
this is a fairy version of Brandon Boyd from Incubus," and just like really goofy shit like that.
I didn't know you had a
Um,
fairy stage. I'm so happy we're friends.
oh yeah, absolutely. I was,
I already was, but like, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
even if
yeah.
you didn't have a fairy stage, but like, that just seals the deal.
Good, good. No, I'll show you my old fairy sketches
Oh,
the
I
next
want
time.
to see them.
Yeah,
That's
they're. I have
awesome.
like a lot of my old notebooks.
So
Um,
great.
there's also a lot of Smashing Pumpkins and Billy Corgan fan art in there.
Well, that's understandable.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. That was those were right alongside each other.
Nice. That makes sense.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
sketchbooks are very weird.
Ah, yes. This is how it goes. So are mine.
Uh,
Totally.
yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man,
So yeah, plants.
plants are good. Plants are really good for you.
Plants are very good for you.
They're good for the air.
Mm-hmm.
They take care of you. You take care of them.
Yeah.
Like it's. I think it's a really great relationship we have with plant life because we just have to breathe around each other.
That's right. We're like, just breathe.
Yeah, that's like the bare minimum of the like symbiotic relationship we have with each other.
Pretty good. It's a
It's a
pretty
good
good
deal.
deal. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's like I think in terms of self-care, like there isn't a whole lot of other stuff. Like I also want to like go out for drives, but gas costs money.
Yeah.
I also, and then like I like going out and just kind of wandering around, but with the way the weather's been, I can't really do that.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
been really bad.
yeah, it will kill me
Oh
if
no.
I look out my window for too long.
Oh no. That's bad.
Oh, the other thing I just remembered that I wanted to mention in terms of self-care and just kind of like relaxing, I love TV.
Mhm.
I will, and by TV, obviously, I mean like streaming platforms on the internet that show TV shows. Uh, I can blow through a sitcom so fast. My God.
That's not
I've
bad though.
seen, yeah, I like it because it's like sitcoms, you know, it's like they have a very specific sort of like, what's it called?
Like a
Thingy?
formula
Yeah,
or
formula. Thank you.
Mhm.
They have a thingy. Uh,
They work on a thingy.
yeah. Yeah, it's like they have like very sort of like basic storytelling formulas, and it's like you don't, it's like it doesn't require a ton of commitment, you know, and it's like, but it's still easy to commit to them,
Mhm.
and like you can fall in and out of them without feeling like, oh, I gotta rewatch these episodes to catch up or anything like that. It's like you can just jump right back in.
Right.
And
I think we lost you for a minute. Let's see.
um
There we go. We lost you for a minute, Vickie.
oh, okay. Yeah, I saw the Twitch stream blip out for a second.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, like I'll like watch sitcoms if I'm just like working on stuff, or if I'm like, you know, doing chores, like laundry, if I'm folding clothes, it's like it's a perfect time to just kind of like let my brain veg out, cuz if I'm just sitting folding clothes with nothing on,
Mhm.
I will go insane.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no
Like,
fun at all.
yeah, it's like my mind will absolutely start racing and I will start freaking out
Mhm.
about just unnecessary things.
Right. Right. It's better to have that distraction.
Mhm. But yeah, TV saved my life. That's not entirely true. I just enjoy it a lot.
I shouldn't laugh though, because we all have our coping skills, right? We all have our
Yeah.
things that we do to distract ourselves. I mean, I love listening to Critical Role. I'm finally all caught up, and I talk about it all the time on this podcast because I love it so much. But anyway, I I love
That is
that.
fair.
I that has bled over from not just artwork, but like when I'm doing dishes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
like, this is so boring and terrible. This
Yeah.
let's listen to this and it'll make it better.
Yeah, actually I'm several episodes behind. I'm going to have to start catching up again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some good stuff.
Yeah,
Some crazy stuff.
I've heard. It's like that show does not know how to calm down.
Nope. No, it does not.
It's like every week they just dial it up more and more.
I'm like, I thought I'd seen everything in this show. No.
Right?
No, I have not.
Yeah. Well, I've also been watching a lot of Dropout, where like they actually have a lot of really great podcasts, and it's nice because I've realized like I'm in that kind of like middle ground where it's like I can, where like I need to watch podcasts, because it's like if I'm doing something and I'm having background noise, I need to kind of see something even if it's not super engaging visually.
Mhm.
And like watching podcasts is perfect because it's like you're just watching people talk.
Right.
And you're like, okay, I know I'm not missing anything, but I just needed to look up from what I was doing, you know, and I needed to look at something.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
That helps a lot.
yeah, and so like Dropout slash College Humor like also has a lot of great podcasts that I listen to, like Tales from the Closet is a fantastic podcast that they also like post up on College Humor 2 or CH2, their YouTube channel, their other YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And that like they just talk about, it's like being queer and like what it's like being in the closet, what it's like trying to come out, and just kind of like different experiences. They have like different guests every episode. It's so good. And it's
Nice.
honestly one of the most uplifting podcasts I've ever heard. So, to anyone who's like queer and needs to like hear stories from other queer people, or if you're like not a queer person at all and you want to learn about our experiences, I recommend that podcast.
Nice.
It's so good and so important.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep, that's good. Podcasts are great. I love them.
definitely.
I have a ton I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
They're awesome. They're just the right amount of, like you said, it's just the right amount of distraction. The visual ones too, like just enough. Um,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
plus you end up learning things, and you get to, you know, hear great stories, and it's just cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious. Are there um like I know you mentioned Critical Role already, but are there any that like are particularly like I guess maybe relaxing or like chill for you to listen to that are just like other stuff that you just like having up in the background aside from Critical Role?
Oh boy, I have such a weird mind. I relax by learning weird random trivia.
Mm-hmm.
I love stuff you missed in history class. I love stuff you should know. I love 99% Invisible is a great podcast. I recommend it
Ooh,
to everyone.
nice.
It's a design podcast, but it
Mm.
talks about the social impact of design. It's
Ooh.
really great. It's really excellent, and I just highly, highly recommend it. I can't recommend it enough. It's really good. It's talked about in a really thoughtful and human and really awesome way. So I highly recommend that one. Yeah, I listened to all of You Must Remember This because that was amazing. I mean, she has her flaws, but wow, that was
Yeah.
incredible. Whoa, like the Marilyn Manson section on, or not Marilyn Manson. Oh my gosh. Charles Manson is not Marilyn Manson. Two different people.
Oh boy.
The Charles Manson stuff that she wrote about on that was incredible because she situated it in Hollywood in the 1960s and 70s and talked about how the change in Hollywood and the stars that were trying to navigate and the musicians that were trying to navigate that world, how they were all interconnected basically into this time period.
Hmm.
And so I love that kind of stuff where people
Yeah.
are talking about the whole picture, where everything is related and how these things are being are like clicking into place to create
Yes.
this moment in time. I think it's really interesting.
Absolutely. I think that's something that like I just want to sort of learn about and engage in more, that sort of like bigger picture stuff where it's like, hey, it's like this stuff that's important to you, like learn about the history about it, but also how it sort of interacted with other things happening in history at the same time, or how it was influenced by other things, and like what sort of like movements are made in response to what other thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be really fascinating looking at all that. I mean, it's really complicated, but
Yeah.
interesting, fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those, it's like a really important thing to like be aware of,
Mhm.
um not to sound like a, like an internet soundbite, but it's like things don't happen in a vacuum.
Right.
It's like everything happens for a reason, as a response to something, as a consequence of something else.
Yes.
And it's important to understand why and how things come about.
Yes. Yes. exactly. That's like a perfect segue too, because I want to talk just briefly, and you don't have to, but
Yeah.
I about therapy. Okay, how did that work? That
Yes.
was like perfect. Great setup.
Do it.
Good job.
Let's talk about therapy for 10 minutes.
All right. So we've talked a lot about mental health today. Just like an overview of some things you
Mm-hmm.
can do to help yourself, help your brain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, like, and not everyone will need this, but ultimately, I highly recommend therapy. And I know not
Yes.
everyone can afford it because I understand that pain so much. I know how that goes. Um, and not everyone has access to it. It's kind of a privileged thing,
Yep.
um, depending on what your circumstances. But if you have an opportunity to, I do highly recommend it as a way to understand your brain better and to understand those things, those connected things that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The way that in a microcosm kind of way, our actions or our backgrounds or our chemistry or whatever, how they're all related, how they work, how they affect us in our day-to-day lives,
Mm-hmm.
and finding tangible, workable solutions that you can use to help
Yes.
you not only understand it, but also try and have more healthy responses to it.
Yes. Uh, yes.
Did that did that make sense? Did I cover? Do you want to add things?
I just no, I fully agree. I think you did a good job of
A
summarizing that.
summary.
Yeah. Because like it is, especially, the idea of like having healthy responses to things. I think that's something that everyone needs to learn, because it's like, again, it's like the way our culture, the way our society teaches us to like react to things and to handle situations
Mm-hmm.
isn't great at all.
No,
Um
it's really awful.
yeah, and it's just like it's very extreme, because it's like it's either like very explosive and like abrasive, or the opposite, where it's like you're taught to like completely shut off and
Yeah,
shut down,
right.
you know? And it's like we never teach people to like engage in what's happening, to engage in a conversation. If someone challenges something you set forth, to be like, "Oh, yeah, let me try to understand what you're saying. Let me try to understand how you're responding to what I'm saying." You
Mm-hmm.
know? It's
Yes.
like we just learn to be defensive.
Yep.
And it's like
Yes. So true.
it's it's so counterproductive.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
It's like it truly does nothing other than like, kind of twist up our perception of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, man. It's not great, and we could all be doing better, teaching people how to do better, because then it's like we screw each other up, and then we have to go to therapy
Yeah. Yeah.
to unlearn everything that messed us up.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. Yeah. Being aware of your own responses and being aware of your own the way you're reacting to people. It's yeah. I'm just repeating what you said. It's incredible and good.
Yeah.
And we could all use some help with that.
Yes. And I also recommend therapy if you have access to it. I know I've seen ads for like apps that
Yeah.
are supposed to be a sort of like a therapy light, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know how well they work, it'd be interesting to find out, if people felt like they benefited from that at all.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a good
because
question.
yeah, like I was curious about it, because it's like, for me, it's like I pay for therapy out of pocket, and it's like it is a really huge expense for me, but it's like for me, I consider it a necessity. It's like, it does put a massive dent in my wallet, but I'm just like, but mentally and emotionally, I'm doing a lot better than I was a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
know?
it is worth it.
Absolutely. It is absolutely worth it. And I kind of want to repeat something that I saw. I don't remember if this person is a mutual friend, but someone posted on Facebook recently about, kind of like going to therapy and stuff. And they had mentioned like how like going to therapy growing up, it's like they realized they weren't approaching it, in sort of the quote unquote correct way, because they didn't sort of realize how important it was to open up and be vulnerable with your therapist.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you're not talking with your therapist about like what's going on in your life, it's like they're not going to be able to help you address it.
Yeah. That is the key. Like, it is
Yeah.
all on you. I mean, I know that's really, really shitty and it's hard. I mean, therapy is
Yeah.
hard. Let's be real. Like, therapy is
Yeah.
hard. It can be it can be really fun. It can be really relaxing, but it can
Yeah.
also be really hard because
Absolutely.
you do have to be vulnerable, and that can be very scary and hard. But it's like, oh man, it's the key through which you get to that space where you are able to heal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's tough though. I know a lot of people are scared of that and don't know how to do that. But your therapist will help you. If they're a good one, they'll help you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I think that's kind of like the biggest barrier for most people,
Mm-hmm.
because like it's like we're all kind of programmed and taught and conditioned to like not be vulnerable, where it's like, oh, it's like that's a weakness,
Right.
when that's not true at all. It's quite the opposite. Being
Yeah.
vulnerable is, one of the most important ways we learn how to be strong.
Right. Right.
um
Exactly.
because it's
Yeah.
like it's through vulnerability that you build bonds with people.
Yeah. 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 And sitting and like, oh man, this is one I've been thinking about recently is that we do so much because I do a lot to distract myself because my brain is so busy and mean. But
Hmm.
like, learning to be okay with feeling uncomfortable. It
Yes.
seems so easy to say that, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to be like, I'm super uncomfortable right now and I feel
Yeah.
terrible, but I need to just be uncomfortable and not run away from it. You know?
Exactly.
And that may be an emotion too. Like, I just need to sit here with this emotion and it's the emotion I'm feeling right now, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Just gonna be here with this. I'm not gonna run away from it. Man,
Hmm.
that's taken me like 10 years of therapy to get to that point.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I mean, I think that's something that like I'm still trying to work on,
There's so
because
much to learn.
it's like we're taught, it's like I think especially being like raised female too. There's like
Yeah.
it's like that's a very dangerous thing that a lot of female or people who are raised female are kind of taught, where it's just like you just kind of like bare your teeth and deal with it, you know,
Yeah.
with any situation that's making you uncomfortable, because it's like, oh, well, no, world's not fair. That's just the way it is,
Right.
And it's just like, oh, okay. Guess I'll die.
Yep. Pretty much.
It's like no one should have to live like that.
No. No, no one should. It's so
No.
true. And I think it's important to talk about in terms of artists because I know it's a stupid stereotype, but I do know a lot of artists that struggle with mental health issues, and myself
Mhm.
included, right? But like,
Mhm.
um, and I don't know if that's just because I know a lot of artists that I see that as very common. Maybe that's just in the general populace is the same. But
Mhm. Sorry,
anyway,
that was my phone.
no problem. It's just a thing that comes up a lot, and I think that we do need to take care of ourselves, and we do need, as a community, we do need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and our mental health. So,
Yes,
yeah, it's important.
absolutely. If you can't afford um things like therapy, I think there's a lot of good resources online, just kind of like even just starting with a Google search about, just stuff that you're dealing with, and
Hmm.
like finding things like forums can even be helpful,
Yeah, there's some
you
really great
know.
ones out there.
I
Hmm.
think that's a good sort of um this might be a poor choice of words, but I guess kind of like a temporary like band-aid for the problem, where it's like you want to like address it, and you might not be able to do much about it right now, but it's like you're trying.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's important.
yeah. I recommend checking out like NAMI, or what is that, National Association of Mental Institute. Anyway, I don't know. I can't
Mm.
remember. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
go for the the national institutes. They've got a
Yes.
lot of really great current information. There's also a lot of really great non-for-profit foundations for a lot of specific mental illness or mental health conditions
Yes.
that are really great. They'll have up-to-date information, because sometimes you can wander off into the weeds and there's a lot of weird stuff out there that where they're like
Mm-hmm.
kind of weird and not great info.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to watch that. But yeah, there's some great forums. There's some great Reddits, subreddits.
Yeah.
I found some great ones for the ones that I deal with, and they were really helpful.
Yes.
So yeah, there's some good stuff out there, and there's some really good books too. Actually, I mean, there's some really terrible ones too. You kind of have to again be discerning and wade through the crap.
Yeah.
But there's some nice ones that have some introductory, uh, cognitive behavioral stuff, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
A nice intro to therapy stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot. There's a lot out there. Take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And also, I should say that we are not medical professionals. We don't know what the hell we're
Yes.
talking about beyond our own experiences. Please don't make us liable for any of that, because we're
Yes.
not doctors.
That too. I'm not a professional. I'm just
Not
your friend.
exactly. Exactly. So please don't sue us.
Yeah. You know how your friend's not a professional? Neither am I.
We're not. Not a professional.
Not even both of us combined.
Nope.
We're just two tired artists
Yep.
talking.
Talking about mental health stuff while we're
Yeah.
super hot and tired.
Yes.
All right. That was fun. That was good. I enjoyed
I
it.
agree.
All right. Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I don't think so. I think we're good with
Cool.
our very loopy episode.
Indeed. Indeed it was. So you have been listening to Through Dangers Untold. Our logo was created by Karen Hodo, and you can find her online at kmhododesigns.com. And you can find me at sonnettshline.com, and also Instagram and Twitter and Twitch. I'll probably be streaming next week again after my
Yeah.
brief vacation. Yes, and Vickie, where can they find you?
You can find me anywhere on the internet as Vixtifer. You can visit my website, vixtifer.com. Please follow my Instagram at Vixtifer. You can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Vixtifer, because, if you got money and you like giving money to artists like me, you can become a patron. Otherwise, if you are in the Chicago area and want to check out fun art and comic festivals, go to Yes Fest in Elmhurst, Illinois, July 19th through the 21st. Otherwise, you can find me in Chicago at Sulzer Library on the Northwest Side on July 27th and 28th.
Nice.
And I think that is all for me.
Awesome. And we hope you will join us on August 14th for our next discussion. And thank you for listening, and see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.